order to create the information in the final templates. So there is a big customization option in there, so you can go in and change how the template generator actually generates for combos or forms or the beginning of the page and the prior and then or the end of the page. Very much what in all the tools we see as snippets, and there's going to be a lot of in there. A template generator, we use those three things, do a lot of work, and it will then create three or, in some cases, two templates. The JavaScript file, which is a template for the presentation part of your page. The HTML will be the one that WebCDN will run through and do the replacement stuff that we normally do, and that will actually hold your data. The JSON is very much like the HTML file. It's also the one that the page generator will run through and make sure that it is being populated with data. JSON arrays are very much what we put into that JSON file, and JSON arrays looks very much like XML files or XML structures, but they are really good and easy to handle and manipulate using JavaScript, and that's probably why EXTJS, the JavaScript library, they chose that. So now we have all of these different templates generated, and so if we go into how do we, for example, what we see normally is that most of the pages in an application, they are more or less out of box. Those are for maintaining STEM data, and then you will have probably 20% of the pages that you need to do something really fancy about. And now it all comes down to customization. There are a lot of customization that you could put add additional options or source codes into your model, but you'll also be able to change those meta templates to meet the requirements of your application. And finally, you'll also be able to go into these JS and HTML JSON files, and at specific locations there are these edit points. As long as you keep any additional code that you add between an edit point begin and an edit point end, very much like an edit point inside Plex, we will keep them. So next time you regenerate, we will save that edit, put the information in that edit point away, generate a new JS file, new HTML file, new JSON file, and bring that back into the page. So you will be able to maintain any changes or additions that you add to the template after the generation. Let's just say that in the end that's not good enough for you. You'll end up having, you're just saying, okay, we need to do something very special that we cannot change using your meta templates or your edit points. We will have to be able to provide you with that template generator and say, this is what we do, and you can inherit from that and create your own template generator based on our template generator because it's written in Plex and WebCDN. So yes, you might have to go and purchase Transact XML because we're going to use XML in there. So we have Plex and we have a WebCDN application. You can actually get that model and do the nifty things about that. It could be a task, but I think that's feasible. That's the idea of it. But hopefully we can make sure that all the specifics in here is all the things that you can do in order for change your layout is good enough. Just an example. In the first version, I'm not sure that we will be coming up with a spinner field, for example. A spinner field is one when you press up, you get 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, and if you press down, you can move it up and down. Instead of putting in the number, you can spin it. So you could actually go into your model and say, okay, I'm going to put a little source code on the field stating that this is a field with the WebCDN control type spinner. And then with that information, that will go into the definition files. And on template generation, the template generator will try to locate a meta template for how to create a spinner control file. And if you create that and add that up there, you will be able to enrich the template generator with that information. So that could be spinners or anything that you can come up with. We have special needs. For example, in one of the projects, we have fields that are so special that you have to press a little button on the right to say, I want to edit them. And when you open that up, I can actually go in and say, press the edit button, and it will open the field and let them change the input, and then you press the button again, and it will be saved to the database. That's not something we're going to provide, but they are able to create that using a meta template and add a little source code to one of the fields and say, this is my special field. And then it will pick up the meta templates for my special field controls. So hopefully it looks really good in action. So currently, as I mentioned, we are having this, we have a big project running on here in Denmark, doing a big Danish insurance company's application. We're using these components, and it's very much based on the information from this project that goes into the new stuff that we do with the XGJS. We also have a partner in Norway that actually did the XGJS just out of the box with standard WebCDN, creating all the templates, generated templates by hand, but they got it up and it looks really cool. And then, as mentioned before, it is very important for us that you give your feedback to us. So if there's anything you need inside the WebCDN product, that goes for both the XGJS, but also anything else we have in there. It would be very good for us to know that. Currently, we plan that this is GA around June 2011. So you might say, why 2011 June? That's because we have a big event in the U.S. that mostly Bill is going to talk about a lot and sometimes. But we have that big conference and gathering in June, so we're going to meet that and give you that in there. We will be able to provide you with beta as we go along, and hopefully around January, start February, we will put out beta for this. We already have most of the patterns ready. There's still some tweaking in there, and we're testing it a lot, so you will not end up having problems. But while you wait for that, I would say that you should have a look at what these guys at the XGJS. The XGJS guys are called Cincha, what they're doing, and they are really doing some cool stuff, and they're coming out with the next version just around January, and that's what the version that we're going to introduce into WebCDN in a way, because they have done a lot of work in there. Then you're also welcome to have a go at soft design and discuss this with some of the consultants. We are currently working with our German partners in a project that might gonna go for XGJS integration as well, and definitely go register for the beta program and give us some feedback on that. And then, of course, any additional webcasts we can do as we go along, I will be happy to do them and show you what comes along. Just before we go into questions, I will also just say that the latest events also made us aware that we needed a new validation pattern. I'm not familiar with how many is using the validation pattern that we provide, but we're going to come out with a brand new one that is more suitable for the XGJS frameworks, and also gives you the ability to actually enable and disable the different parts of the validation. It's very much based on what Plex does, but we have broken it up, created brand new meta code in order to support the WebCDN applications more and better. So you can actually disable parts that you do not view validated by or fields validated by. You can change and enable or disable those. So that's also coming out, and that's already in the making. I think that I will give it out to questions, and hopefully everybody has a lot of questions. I'm just gonna see here, attendees, 34, content. Currently I have no operators or anything.
Would you like to do audio questions?
Yeah,
any audio
I
questions?
think that's what he's asking for.
Yeah, I think audio questions would be good.
At this time, I would like to remind everyone, if you would like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster.
Also, any comments you may have, or you're just going to say, oh, I need that, or oh, I don't need that. Why didn't you do this instead? If there is no questions and you end up sitting around the weekend and say, oh, I have a question, please do send them to the support at webcdn.com. We love questions as much as we love problems, but we love questions more.
Again, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1.
Not much.
And there are no audio questions at this time.
No.
Okay. Well, Niels, thank you very much. Okay, excellent job, and much appreciated. I'd like to remind everybody here, and please send any questions you may have to Niels, specifically at support@webcitian.com. Support@webcitian.com is how you get hold of him. And, hopefully this was some interesting and valuable information for you. And we will see you next month. The topic of our community webcast next month will be announced in the next few days and sent out to everyone. This is something, of course, again, that we're doing the third Thursday of every month. And so, again, thank you all for your time. As you see here, we have a poll up here that we ask that you quickly give us feedback on. Just let us know what you thought of the topic and what you thought of the presentation today, just to give us an idea of how we did and how we can do better going forward. Okay. Okay. So if there are no further questions or comments, we thank everybody once again, and at this time I'll conclude the call and conclude the broadcast. And thanks again to Niels. And thank you to all of you again for spending time with us today. Have a good holiday.